What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the show here. I'm here with a good friend here. I'm here with the executive producer over there at GoldKnights, the one and only Vladimír Geršl. We're here to talk about their new game that's getting ready to drop tomorrow, guys. It's actually a big day for them. They're very emotional, and it's really cool to see, to hear the process behind this game. Of course, that is the last Oroku. Here, join us this awesome morning. I know it's early. You guys are like, wait, why are we doing an interview this early? Well, time differences. That's why. So I'm here with the awesome Vladimír Geršl to talk about the last Oroku. How you doing, sir?
Hey, thanks for the introduction and thanks for the chance being here. It's, as you said, it's quite intense now. We have a day before release. So how I'm doing, I'm a bit tired, a lot excited, and quite nervous as well.
Oh, yeah. Well, first, Vladimír, of course, obviously it's your first time on the show. So before we even get into the game and where it's going and the team and everything of that nature, I got to start off with you personally. What got you into the industry as it is?
So, like my story in the industry, I mean, what's behind me. It's a long story, so I try to make it short. But I'm doing games from like 2001, so 22 years ish. It was my child dream. We started quite soon on high school with some successful games, and then I started to lead bigger studios, studios for Activision, for Sony. And then in 2018, when I came back from Denmark, where I was leading studio called Napno Games, I was looking for some interesting studio and project to produce, to join in, and to let's say bump up in the quality. And I found I was helping here with Beat Saber for a bit and so on, and then I found guys from GoldKnights with Pavel Stenat, their creative director, as a frontman, as a really bright designer. And I could see that in the title, which was in the time more like small indie title, heavily inspired by Dark Souls, I could see a lot of potential in the title if we take it together, if we really change it into a bigger IP, find right unique selling points, and push it to the AA level of an action RPG. So it started 2018, 2019, we're beginning, and after 4 years, we're here.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. How would you describe the journey to where we are now? You're now an executive working with them. Would you say it was a hard fought to climb to the top, or was it more of a straightforward, cruise control? Like, how would you describe it? Was it just a wild ride?
It was very wild ride because the studio was quite junior, and I had to first basically first step what I was doing as exec producer was to take the game, drop a lot of ideas that were there, as we say, kill many babies, and then basically add those ideas or highlight those ideas that can be really unique and make the mixture out of them that can be interesting for publisher, for the players, obviously, in the end, and out of this compose the basic idea for the IP for the last Oroku, basically rename it, then exchange some people in the team that were too uncontrollable, let's say, too indie for this. Bring some senior guys from the industry to learn the rest, or teach the rest of people how to produce the AA quality and not the indie quality, and make the demo out of this. And that this process of like putting together the interesting mixture of features, which for us was co-op multiplayer, the dynamic storytelling, and the blend between action RPG and the Souls-like in a way that it's interesting for both audiences, I believe. And then make a demo out of this and find the right publisher. So this was like 9 months to produce the demo, then another 9 months dancing with different publishers to sign the contract, which we signed with Koch Media, nowadays PlayOn, and then use the power of publisher and also our power, investors' power, Pavel's power, who was investing a lot of money into the game, my own money, and so on, and basically start building the whole team, which started as 12 people, ended up as 45-ish people, so quadruple the team,
Yeah.
and basically start professionalizing, let's say, the whole process, but still keep that enthusiasm of the small studio, of some of the juniors who stay, who are still with us and who became in those 4 years pretty experienced guys, and so on. So it was, for me, even after 22 years in industry and many projects led, it was very inspiring still process to see those young junior people transforming their excitement into the game and the result in the end.
Okay. So the last Oroku, who came up with that name? Was that you? Was like a team decision on this?
It's to be perfectly honest, I don't in games, and that might sound not super positive, but the gaming industry, and if you want to lead games in a way that they are predictable, it's not so much of there is not a lot of team decisions. It's not super democratic process, I would say. So we were looking for something, or I was looking for something, for some interesting name that is easily understandable, or at least
Catchy.
it stands out of crowd. And Oricru in our game is a special word which we use for some specific people in the game, and I really like that word. It was word made up from our writer, and I really like the word. So I was pushing that idea, and Pavel, my business partner and creative director, he added the last into that. So we kind of made this together, same as most of ideas for the game. So the last Oricru, as I said, the idea is if you're building IP that is not, where you don't have tens and hundreds of millions of bucks in pocket, then you need to be also clever with the name to be still easily searchable and memorable and so on.
Okay. By the way, shout out to Sir Toby in the chat. For those that don't know, that is one of the managers over at the team. So shout out to Toby in the chat. Obviously, let's get to the questions for the game now. Now, of course, I know you. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the show, so I'm just gonna go ahead and start a quick one right here. On a scale of 1 to 10, how excited should the gamers be for tomorrow for the last Oroku?
I would personally be quite excited. As I said, it is our goal from beginning was to not make another same RPG as many other RPGs before, but it was to bring own mixture of interesting ideas, but still be easy to grab, still be easy to play, still be kind of not too different, but have many of those interesting ideas. And for me, as I said, the dynamic storytelling, I really hate buzzwords that are kind of empty promises. So we really did a lot of work. I can tell you that, as I said, after like 20 plus years, this was the most difficult feature I have ever worked on, because we didn't want to make empty promise. So we really made a huge decision tree in the game, and your decisions, actions in the beginning it might not seem in some moments as a super important decision or big impact, but there is really big butterfly effect, and it can lead towards very different scenarios through the game. Also, our goal was not to have like a dynamic narrative that leads to different outros, but more there are different outros, but it's more about the gameplay itself, because after you spend tens of hours in the game, and then it's more about the gameplay through those tens of hours than some different intros. So we really did
Okay.
a lot of work on this, and plus co-op for me, that's it's really super exciting still. Even after 4 years,
Oh,
I
it's a
have a
big
lot of
deal.
fun
Yeah.
to just
Yeah.
sit here, drink a beer, and play on a split screen with some colleague, and it's a great fun. So
Yeah.
um,
Oh yeah.
I hope
It's always fun with friends. Absolutely.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Like when I was doing the previous game with SONY, it was actually a party game, and I could see how much fun is in there. And I was thinking, like, why not to bring this fun into more serious genre, let's say, because the fun factor is still the same. You're sitting with your friend, with your relative, with whoever on the couch, and have this shared fun, shared moments, and it works super well even in RPGs. It's not easy to make it there, but when you make it, and when you have that feature, it's really great.
Okay, okay. You talked about the gameplay as being like the main thing here to look out for. So how would you describe the gameplay, compared to other RPGs? Like, what makes this one stand out amongst the rest here? Obviously, tomorrow's the big day, but yeah, you
Sure.
gotta.
Yeah, so from RPG perspective, we are still inspired by Souls games. We like
Okay.
the skill based gameplay, but on the other hand, because we added the story and the whole branching narrative and the whole flow through the game is heavily story driven, we had to basically let's say melt down some of those difficulty spikes, because if you get stuck for 3 hours on some boss fight, as it is normal in some games in that subgenre,
Oh yeah.
then you would lose the clue what was in the story. You would lose the line. So basically, we try to melt it down a bit to make the gameplay more smooth, but still, let's say, exciting for the Souls-like fans. But they will see that it's not about those super hard moments. It's still about the intense gameplay, but not about those blockers in the gameplay you are overcoming, but rather about the smoother gameplay and following the story. And plus, we added there the story mode, story difficulty. So for those more classic RPG guys who like Witcher or Piranha Bytes games or Spider Studios games, they have this more simple difficulty that is still about skill-based gameplay, but it's slowed down, and you can go through the game without frustration of dying 200 times on the spot.
Okay.
So
Okay. I know you were, again, we talked about before we even went live, you said the team was very, very emotional. So, obviously tomorrow's the big day. How would you
it is.
describe the process behind this in terms of like how hard was it to bring this game to life? Was this game a challenge by itself, since you said that, the gameplay is the main thing to look out for this?
Yeah, definitely. It was from this point of view. There were some challenges that I've mentioned were the most difficult from my point of view for the team in all the games I have produced or led. Even the length of the production cycle, as I said, 4 years, and before that, some of those guys were working on the previous gameplay prototypes and in-house tools. So some guys are working on it for like 6 years. So stay kind of um, productive for 6 years, and have still fun from working on kind of one game. That's a challenge by itself. There were challenges in the COVID time, basically, when COVID started, we had to switch to full remote structure. So that was challenging, but in the end, I have to say that it was actually helpful for us because we could find many talents all over the world. We could we were before that we were obviously focused more on the Prague and Czech Republic where we have offices, but it's still not a huge country, and finding here a lot of talents that are not already in Warhorse or Bohemia Interactive or some other studios, that's hard. And after switching to full remote structure, we could easily hire guys from Ukraine, from America as well, but also from like North Macedonia, some smaller countries
Right.
that are not so obvious and could make the kind of also unique team structure based on talents. So there were challenges. I believe we overcame most of them successfully. But the biggest challenge itself was really to bring very complex RPG in relatively still small team of tens people. You know, as I said, 45-ish people. If you compare it to big teams of hundreds of people, this was challenging, and this was very focused on every single person doing the best job and on heavy QA or the testing of everything and so on. So the challenge of bringing the difficult genre by itself, because RPG is probably one of the most difficult, together with I don't know,
Yeah.
like real-time strategies and something like that, bringing very difficult genre in a mid-senior team, let's say, not so big in COVID times, that was definitely a challenge, and that also is part of my excitement that we made it successfully
Oh,
to the
okay.
end.
All right. Where do you see The Last Oroku in the next 2 years? Do you think this might be the game that really is your breakout, like the breakout game of the year? You think it could be one of them?
I think it can be definitely one of those surprises that kind of were not
Like under the
huge
radar? Yeah.
yes, huge brands before, and they can start selling hundreds of thousands and potentially millions of copies. So I think there is definitely potential in there. On the other hand, I'm also realistic that we cannot just throw the game to the market
Right.
and kind of
Expect lightning in a bottle.
wait that it's happening.
Yeah.
So our plan is basically to continue working on the game. It's not like we would have early access. It's the final game, but we still want to react on players, on community, on content creators,
Right.
and help basically to finalize each element in the game to the level that it's really masterpiece. So we are planning for next 6+ months to keep working on the game, to keep later on adding some even packages, downloadable packages that can make the whole story even richer and so on, and the combat. So we really want to, even after so many years of production of the game, we still want to continue supporting the game and working with community, because that's in the end the best thing. You know, we had community involved in the development for many years already. We had focus tests, closed beta, and it helped us a lot, and we want to continue with this.
Okay. I know. Obviously, you guys are pushing heavy for PC. I saw the specifications for it. The game does look good. Did you guys ever think about like hitting up maybe PlayStation or Microsoft for? Because obviously Microsoft has Game Pass, and that's actually been quite good in terms of getting more eyes on games that a lot of people wouldn't necessarily look at as much. But also, you have PlayStation with their PlayStation Premium. You think? Did you ever think about reaching out to them about that for the game?
Yeah, like honestly, this is obviously mostly on the publishers contacts on Play On and Prime Matter. But from me personally, for the starting IP that is new on the market,
Mm-hmm.
especially as you mentioned, like things like Game Pass, they are great actually, because then you can spread the game
Right.
across a lot of people, and they can, like, by word of mouth then buy it on other platforms later on, or their friends, especially with our online co-op and so on. So basically, yes, that's for me a great way to go. We are tomorrow releasing not only on PC, Steam, but also on PS5 and Xbox. So there is cross-release for those three platforms, and let's also see how the audiences on those platforms will react on that, because obviously PS5, that's maybe closer to Souls audience.
Yeah.
On the other hand, we made it more casual to some extent, so it might be closer to Xbox. We will see.
Yeah,
We will
you
see.
might get a lot of traction with it, because a lot of people are really dying for more of the Souls like S genre over there on PlayStation. Obviously Bloodborne keeps getting mentioned and people want that, so then maybe this
Yeah.
could fill the void if it's if it hits really really well with the gamers. So
That was the whole time that my like holy grail to hit those both audiences, like Souls-like players that might be already bored from another Souls
S
copycat,
World,
and
right.
will be super interested in something new and fresh, and also for those classic RPG players that might be, on the other hand, maybe like looking for some other interesting story with interesting fights. And because Souls like fights are really something great, that makes the fighting kind of fair, and a lot about like reactions, less than about numbers. um,
Yeah.
uh, then I think we did really a lot of work, and I did a lot of thinking through those 4 years, how to blend those two things and not kind of hit between and not hit anyone. So I hope we will blend this, and well, we made an interesting game for both audiences.
Okay. So what would be the most, in your opinion, like the most exciting thing for you going into this game? Obviously, again, tomorrow's the release, but what are you most excited about to bring to the player for this game? Is it the combat, or would you say it's something else that maybe that's hidden that we don't know about for this?
There are some hidden things that are exciting when some players will realize, but if for me, it is definitely to see the positive reactions. As I said, we have small but very active community, and they are super positive now, which is great to see this. And I believe that tomorrow, and I will see some videos of two guys playing on couch and having a lot of fun with our game, that will energize us a lot for the future work, and gives us the fuel we now need after the final crunch period. So for me, the reactions of players, also to be able to explain to players, to some of those players that might not be satisfied, that we are not letting them down, that we are going to improve the game also based on their feedback. That's for me super exciting. So for me, really, like working with community, and watching their reactions, that's going to be the most exciting thing. Um, but the release itself, that's always the great moment in the development, and I'm really looking for that after those 4 years.
Okay. So obviously, game pricing and everything, the state of the world. Is this game gonna be 70, or is it
No, no, no,
in
no, no, no. It's AA game, so it's
okay.
39.99. So it's 40 bucks, and there will be maybe later on some uh, special editions.
Bundles?
So there might be some more valuable packs, but
Oh, no collector's edition? Because I see you got a little friend beside you. Like, maybe gamers get their hands on that?
what's this one?
Yeah.
That's,
For those you wondering, I think that's like the He looked like the villain, right? That's what that was.
Yeah, that's actually the Redkin general,
Yeah.
and in the game, that's a good example how the dynamic structure work. There is a lot of characters who wants his head. You also don't need to kill him, and you can join him and finish the whole game with him and help to the Redkins. But you can also just cut his head and then bring it to many other characters and have very big impact on the next evolvement of the conflict and the whole war, and if those nations will survive, or you will help just to kill everyone from that nation. So there is really a lot of decisions like this. So the head is actually
So
the
yeah.
element that illustrates it well, I believe.
Oh, yeah, I'm a little surprised. Mr. Toby's not talking about this head. A collector's edition. What's going on with Toby? Toby's missing a golden opportunity here.
Yeah.
uh, so
No, but anyway, like the game is $40, and as I said, I believe now I don't know the how big the sale is, but there is small special price for the first adopters of the game in the first week or two. So I believe there will be something like 10% off.
oh,
Um,
okay. All right. That's awesome. That's awesome. So obviously, again, excitement. We know a little bit of the character. So what would you say about the main character? I mean, is it? Are we just going to conquer areas, or are we just kind of going that route of a Souls player? You're just kind of like just exploring. You're fighting different bosses, and then you, I guess, get to an end, right? A conclusion. Is that how you guys kind of structured this, or is it more of a real like reason why the character's doing this? Like, is he searching for something, that type of thing?
yeah, that's kind of, there is multiple questions in this. I about main character. Our goal was to bring character that might not actually be the most sympathetic guy for everyone, but who is kind of again memorable and interesting enough, so you want to follow him. We decided to go with just one main character, male character, who is fully voiceovered. But the decision was not, we would like to bring more characters, different characters, but with our size and with the whole non-linearity, we built rather one deep character. And even if you can find, or our players who are watching us can find our dev diaries, where is the main actor who is voice acting the main character, called Silver. The main actor is explaining how he even approached the voice acting. That you wake up after remembering nothing on the foreign planet, hostile planet, where is the conflict happening, and so you're very sarcastic. At least that's how he approached that, because you kind of feel that might be just a dream, and you don't believe what's happening. And then you start realizing it's not a dream or fun or funny, and so he starts to be way more dark basically later in the game. So there is, even like in voiceover, there is like a nice development, and even in the main character, you can really do a lot of decisions that are kind of moral decisions. We are never, as developers, somehow rating if it's right or wrong decision. It's
Mm-hmm.
always on the player to decide which way he wants or she wants to go.
So it's kind of like, I guess you say it would be full with side quests in a sense too. Like the Souls games, like you would have, those select NPC characters that would be in certain areas and then they'll disappear after a certain time you progress the main story. Sort of. Would you say?
Yes, like in our case, actually, you have like some very like a lot of NPCs in the game that are connected through the whole story, so they don't disappear and appear somewhere else. There is like 250 cutscenes that are kind
Okay.
of explaining what is happening, how they are, like how they attack some place, how they escaped. So the whole thing is kind of connected, and the whole conflict is happening during few days. So we try to even like keep the time in a right order, and not do those magic things like in some games where those characters just disappear and appear on a different place. You are following those characters. You can follow a pack of redkins and lead the revolution, as we call it, or you can just be the bad guy who is kind of trying to kill everyone. But those characters in the game you're meeting, or you're going to meet, is they are like very unique, and they have own motivations, and you are kind of trying to figure out why they want to do this, if to help them or not. And that's also what makes the game interesting, because in the end it's not only about outros, but it's also about many epilogues about those characters and how you affected basically their destiny, if they survive, if they how the world or the planet survived with them, and so on. So it is a lot about those characters and your decisions leading to their not only dying or surviving, but
Yeah, you're selling a lot of people on this game. A lot of people in the chat say, I'm wishlisting this. Well, I got good news for you guys. We have 7 codes we're going to be giving away for this game. Not getting away today. I'm away for Friday to give the codes out of respect for the game. The game launches tomorrow, but we'll be doing that for you guys. So you stick around. We'll get right to that.
Yes. But yeah, please also wishlist it. It's great. It's great to see that you like the game. Okay, so that's the basics. Our premises was really not to say about every decision from our point of view it's good or bad. We want players to explore, and basically we build it a lot about replayability. So you might do a decision that you see has a very, for you, maybe negative impact in the end, and you want to play it again and do a different decision and lead to different outcomes. And even in co-op, this is very interesting, because in co-op there is only one player who can affect this, but there is a lot of discussions usually between the primary and secondary player, what decisions to do, what decisions to make, and even to us it happens that we finish the game and want to switch the roles and play as a primary player to make decisions by myself and lead you through the game through my way, kind of. So
how would you describe the arsenal in this game, like weapon choice? We kind of limited, or would you say it's like a big variety of weapons in this game?
It's not super big in numbers. Our goal was to make rather less weapon classes and make them very distinctive. So basically,
each has like a perk, like, or each stands out in their own way. Like, for example, a sword, you're better at like long range. A mallet or something like that's good for strength.
Exactly. Like you have swords and shields. You have axes. You have double-handed swords, hammers. So there is plenty of those classes. But it's not like in each class there is 100 weapons. There is like 10, 20 weapons per class. But then each weapon you can upgrade, and you can also level up the weapons itself. You can use materials you find to upgrade them. So you can kind of, by clever upgrading and clever combining of special spells that are also connected to weapons, you can make very unique combinations that are even quite overpowered. But that's what you want in the RPG, to make something by clever choices that overpowers many opponents. So our goal was basically to make a game that is a lot about weapons, not about many perks or skill trees, but you have 6 basic stats, and those stats are basically opening for you the option to use some weapon classes, some specific weapons, and then you kind of you can have in both hands, like you have 2 slots per hands, which you can combine. Each weapon has up to 2 different spells on it. So basically, it's a lot about weapons and combinations. Plus, on top of this, the co-op element when you have, for example, spells on weapons that are co-op oriented, so you can connect between you two, between you and your partner, and
Right.
that bean is then killing everyone in between. So it's about clever movement of those two players, or spells that are amplifying the effect of another player, and so on. So I believe we made a lot of combinations based on this weapon focused approach together with the co-op.
Okay. What would be the class that you be using in this game?
It's hard to tell. I actually
Come on, you know you got a
I
preferred class.
yeah, I like the double-handed hammers, and just go and be crazy. But
See,
on the
there
other
you
hand,
go.
now
You play a lot of
guys
Elden Ring.
prepared uh,
There you go.
guys prepared actually really nice new combinations and new weapons just few weeks ago, and then I was trying like the class cannon, really the guy who is super overpowered, but just one hit and you die, and that was a lot of fun. Not in single player that much because I died a lot, but in multiplayer when you have someone who is tanking in front of you, it was really nice. So that there is a lot of interesting weapon classes actually.
Okay. There's not like magic, if I remember correctly, right? In this game. Is there magic type of?
It is sort of magic. The whole story of the world is combining the sci-fi and the kind of medieval world. So you figure
Okay.
out later on that what seems to be magic might be forgotten technology, but there are those, let's say, spells on those weapons, and that is what is magic in our game. So you can find things that look like or functions as a usual spells, but you can find also very unique abilities there.
Okay. So can you obviously, like Souls games, can you sneak up behind your enemy, do the stealth kills? Can you do that?
No, we don't have sneaking. We decided to even like not include the stealth mechanics in general because that would kind of defocus us from what we wanted to do with co-op and with spells and with the story. So no sneaking. There is alert indicator. You can avoid enemies, but it's more used to not just hit some enemies while you are
Right.
going, while you are trying to avoid some fights, not bumping someone with your backs. So there is alert indicator, but there is not a lot of like stealth missions or something like that.
Okay. I know a lot of. How about a counter system? By any chance, would you say like a parry? Is there a parry system in the game? Okay, so
Yes,
you do
yes,
have your parries, which is okay. That's good. That's good.
yes, yes.
Okay.
Very,
Yeah, I'd be worried a little
and
bit. I'm like, oh no stealth. Like, do we have at least a parry? Can we at least parry?
sure. You,
That's
you
like the
can you
best
can
thing about
parry.
it.
You can obviously roll. You can close dodge, which we also like as a mechanic. So you can either roll or just dodge when you don't have your invincible frames, as when you are rolling. But you can stay closer to your enemy. Obviously, you can shield. You have great shields and then normal shields, and those great shields can deflect way more hits and so on. So there is a lot of this a lot of this rich
Right.
gameplay.
And I would reckon
Um,
some are heavy, so you can't really do the parry. Some are just like kind of station, got like this.
yes,
Okay,
exactly,
okay,
exactly.
okay. So it's definitely Souls esque at its core completely. You have your limited, and some others not, so to speak. Okay.
What I, by the way, like, sorry, just a small example about
On a,
Souls elements, like we because in many RPGs you have problem with explaining why your character has to go everywhere and why he or she is the one who needs to save the world. In
mm-hmm.
our case, because of the Souls elements, because you have some special technology that revives you always, that's quite easy to explain even in a story, and those other NPCs starts using that as a good good reason why you should go somewhere, because you can go there and die as many times as you want. So we even use the Souls-like principles in this fun way in the story, that they are sending there because you can die 20 times for the kingdom and so on. So yes, we went as far as we could to blend all of this together.
Okay. I mean, it definitely sounds like the dream project, so I can see why you guys are so emotional going into tomorrow, and very, very excited to see how well it does. So,
Thank you. Thank you.
yeah, congratulations, seriously, to you and everybody. I'm glad. I'm very happy to hear the story, how you guys went from 12 employees to almost 50, and this project became more and more ambitious as time went on. So that's really, really cool.
That's true, and I have to say that, like, like as I said in the beginning, I'm super proud of the team, of the Pavel as my business partner, who also became very, very unique and great creative director. But also I'm quite excited from the publisher's approach, because the publisher let us to scale up, to level up even in the process. When they saw the potential in the game, they even supported us and asked to spend more time on the game, which is not usual from publishers. They want to have the strict sheets when you finish the project, and how expensive it is. And so even this was very refreshing approach for me. And so yes, I'm very excited from the whole process. As I said, also very tired. So the next thing I'm going to do is to sleep like over the weekend in a row. But I'm really happy to see what's going to happen tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. I know it's late over there. It's super early over here. So what I'm gonna do, I'm actually gonna tag in Mr. Toby here, because Toby's with us, ladies and gentlemen. I know you guys are asking about the codes. What platform they're available for, et cetera, et cetera. But before we get Toby in here and he gives you guys the details on those, I gotta ask Mr. Vladimír here. First of all, thank you so much for coming on the show. I know it's late. I don't want to keep you up super longer, but I just want to say congratulations to you and the team on this game. Looks really, really great. You sold a lot of people in the chat on this. They're like really, really talking about like, oh my God, I'm interested. So that's good. I love seeing that. So
that's great. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me in the show and us with the game, Ryan. Thank you for this format. It's very exciting to see people being excited about the project. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. And Vlad, I haven't asked this in a while, but I gotta ask, guys, the closing comment. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much fun did you have on the show, and can we possibly see you on here again?
I'm full 10 to be here again soon after release, to tell you what are the next real plans and what we will do, and maybe unfold some ideas and plans more in detail.
Okay, all right. For those of you wondering about the Steam keys, just got the green light. Shout out to Sir Toby here. He said that the Steam keys are for PC, so these are going to be for Steam. So for those of you wondering, got a PC, you can play this game with these keys. But if I remember correctly, he did say they have other platforms, right? I think he said Xbox and PlayStation.
Xbox Series and PS5.
Okay, so we might definitely see if we can get some PS5 ones for Friday if we can, and we'll give those away for you guys as well. But for today, for those of you interested in the game, what we're going to do Friday, we're going to be giving away a bunch of these codes for you guys so you guys can get into the world of The Last Oroku. And it's going to be awesome to see everybody's feedback and see how you guys feel about the project. So I just want to thank everybody for coming through. I know it's early, so I wasn't expecting a lot of you guys in the chat, so it was super early. You guys, I'm pretty sure people were going to hit me up after. It was like, Big, you doing an interview at 10 in the morning? I'm like, well, Sorry, time difference. So it was fun regardless, and obviously it's always a treat to have someone from the industry here. So again, thank you so much, Vladimír, for joining me, and of course Sir Toby as well for joining us with his awesome presence. And thank you guys for this opportunity. I'll definitely be talking about this on Locking It, so I'll be tagging you guys in once we write that up, and we'll get part 2.
Yes.
But
that's great. That's great. So your Revolution is coming.
yeah, I'm gonna need you to send me that like in a big bubble wrap so I can take that. Well,
this one I asked for specifically from the cosplayers we had on the Gamescom. So unfortunately, this one is only the executive producer.
Oh, that's the one of the kind. He's got the official.
It's one of the kind.
Oh god!
Soon there might be with more.
Oh man, you might put that in a showcase. I can already see you putting that in a glass display somewhere in that house.
Exactly.
Well, there you guys go. Thank you guys again so much for joining us. I will see you guys later on, and you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Do me a huge favor, hit that like button if you haven't done so already, and make sure you guys check out the awesome team over here and obviously tomorrow's game, and it's the last Heroku. It's going to be awesome, and I'm looking forward to see how we do. It's going to be on PS5, it's going to be on Xbox and PC. So, and it's also cross-play. It's also cross-gen. So, go crazy. See you guys there, and we'll see you on the next one. Right here.
See you. Bye.